guys, so in this video we're going to go over patterns and how useful they are when you are trading. So we are going to start with an M pattern. So an M pattern just kind of looks like this. Similar to a double top. So we have price rising, correcting, coming back to the high, reversing, and then a reverse after it. Okay, so a double top, similar to that, except it's just two tops together, respects resistance and reverses. So very, very similar. So just by looking at this chart, I can identify an M pattern. So we have price rising, correcting, coming up to the high again, reversal candle, and down. Once that M is completed, the market starts to reverse again. Okay, so taking this trade, just going to show you exactly how this works out. So let's say you wanted to trade this pair. Okay, so most people would think, okay, so we had a big bullish move, then a correction, and people might think, okay, it's going to reach this high. So we want to mark up our highs. So we take this horizontal ray tool, line chart, point, okay, so we have a key level at 142,350. Okay, so which area did it reject again? So here's our first resistance, this is minor, and then comes support, and then right here, the market reversed at this specific point. So what we want to do, take the horizontal ray tool, attach it, candlestick, and we are going to round it to 500. Okay, so right at the 41,500, we also have resistance. Okay, so a couple things. Let's say that we took a buy at this support. So let's just look here. So we had resistance at 142,350. The candlestick bodies closed below and completely made an impulse down. So why did it stop here? The reason why is if you look left at structure, we had support. And guys, like, you can call it whatever you want, supply and demand, support and resistance, it all means the same thing, just as long as you understand the meaning of everything. And when it comes to this, like when you see the 2 points not matching up, it's fine. Just go for the lowest one, because that's where price printed. Okay, so respects 142,350, comes down to major support, and remember I've been doing everything off the 4 hour. So what ends up happening is it rejects, closes above 138,650, and comes up. So just by, again, taking an entry, we can have an entry at 142.50. Since it's already rejected in this area, we can take our stop loss a bit closer. Okay, And so our first target would be around this area because this is minor support, but it failed in this area, okay? Okay, so failed in this area. So you can see it tested twice, but then ended up breaking, okay? So our first target would be in this area. So that is a 1 to 10 risking 20 pips to 200. So if you saw it correcting back and you were afraid that it was going to come up and test the high again, then you could take profit if you want. But again, like, try to leave your emotions out of it and just focus on what price is telling you. So price always has to pull back when it drops. Like from here to here, it dropped 200 pips. So you're waiting on a correction. So what ends up happening, it exhausts and then ends up breaking to this next structure. So our second target would be here. Okay? So that's about 371 pips risking 20. So after it hits this and starts to reverse, we know this is a major key level, so we can take profit here. So what ends up happening is, again, you can counter trend this. So take a long, right back up. So first target here, second target here, third target here. Okay, and then the stop loss obviously closer. 30 pip stop loss, and then again, first target 1 to 5, second target 1 to 9, and then third target almost 1 to 12 risk to reward. Okay, so what ends up happening is it comes up, tests, reversal candle, closes below. Okay, so you can just have, if you want, you could just have a pending limit on that price. So 141.5. Okay, so our first target's here. And then it ends up breaking, and then we have to see what happens here. So, okay, it just keeps falling. So we don't see any signs of the candle. We don't see any signs of a bullish movement. So we don't have to worry about it coming up to test or anything like that. It's just going down. Okay, so it comes up and retests. And then fakes out. Comes up again. And then hits the target completely, hits the 138,650. So what ended up happening here, dropped here, could not get to support. Sometimes that happens. So it reversed, came back down, so it looked like a fake out, then came up, then tested, and then came almost back up to this resistance. So again, when you see it coming above structure like this, and you, like, on lower time frames, you can see this reverse. So let's look at 1 hour. Okay, so right here you can see that had a big bearish push, and then it starts to reverse. So as soon as you see it starting to reverse, because sometimes it doesn't always hit that 138,650, right? So when you see it start to reverse, you can take profit or you can wait. So in this instance, we, again, setting your stop loss to break even, this was close, right? So what ended up happening is price came up, tried to break down from this area, then came up, tested it, and then continued up almost to the high. Then came down to this, made a correction, and then completely went to this support. Okay, so again, just by taking this, you can see that it didn't break above this level and it closed below. Okay, so another M pattern happened here. And then after the M pattern created, it reversed. Okay, so that's how you do it. You're just going from zone to zone every single time. And again, sometimes it's not going to hit exactly where you think, but you just have to watch it on lower time frames to see if it's going to reverse. But like I said, so many pips, guys, just off one pair. That's all you have to focus on. So let's just see what happened after this. Okay, so it touches support, comes back down to support, starts ranging, comes back up and tests, and then comes back down and tanks. So just by this, seeing how it closed below, this is your other entry for a sell. So it's coming back to these zones each and every time. And then it ends up tanking. Okay? So again, taking that entry from here, you could have held the whole thing if you wanted to, but again, when you see it reversing, you can take profit, you can take 50% of your profits, whatever you want to do. Then the market comes up, and as you see it exhausting in this area, you can take a sell. So our round number close to this is 141.2. So we have 141.5, we go 141.2. And then our target would be here, it reverses here. So there's two entries on this trade as well. So 141.200. So our first target again would be in this area, but this is minor, so it ends up breaking, okay? So this is our target, 253 pips. So what ends up happening is it comes up and tests the structure and then completely reverses. So here's another entry, okay? And then again, looking on lower time frames to get that exact entry. So it even shows the M pattern on the 30-minute time frame. So the lower time frames you go for the entries, the better. So either 30-minute or 15, but you can see this M pattern forming. Okay. So right here you can see that it faked out. So you would take an entry right here for that that second sell. So we would enter at 300, stop loss below or above, okay, and then again our target is down here. So then looking at the 4 hour, this is what it looks like. Okay, so two entries from the top here, and then that correction, it tested structure and then went down. So then all you're doing now, since it's breaking, is you're looking left at structure. Okay, so we have a massive gap here. So that is what it needs to fill. So let's just see what happens. So it starts to range because it dropped so far, and comes up for a correction and completely tanks down to this level. Okay, so this is acting as support now. And if you can see, so it starts ranging at this level, then ends up breaking even further. Okay. So what we're doing is we're going like this and just seeing at what price is it supporting. So around 133.7-ish. Okay, so that's all you do. So just from these targets up here, we can extend them because price broke, right? So we just extend it to the next support, 638 pips, and then the second one, extend it to the next support, 540 pips, 1,000 pips. There you go. Just from that one entry, or just from those two entries. But again, even if you held it from here, that would be 750 pips here, 865 pips here. So that's how you do it, just off those major zones. Okay, so let's go over more patterns here. Okay, so right now this is easy to see. I can see an inverse head and shoulder pattern creating. So price breaks this level. Price breaks in here. Tests the trend line and then completely reverses. Okay, so after this pattern forms, let's say you got that retest off the trend line. Just from that's an 800 pip move. Okay, so then another thing here, we have a W. After a W is formed, price reverses. Okay, so again, when you're looking at structure, it's testing every single time. So W pattern formed, tested this broken structure, and then came down. Then we have support right here. Tested support, came back up, then kind of range, didn't quite hit the support, but as you go to lower time frames, you can see, okay, price is about to reverse. So then what ends up happening is it reverses to here, fakes out, drops below, and then now currently we're rising above it. So what is the next resistance? Right here. Okay, so it's just repeating itself every single time, and you can take entries off these zones every time. So let's look for more patterns here. Not too much happening over here. Here is a double top. Price comes up to this resistance, look left, take horizontal ray tool. We can even do 147. It's kind of too high. Let's do 950 in the middle. Oh, 146, 950. Whoops, my bad. There, that's fine. So anywhere in this area, we can look to take a sell. So what ends up happening, respect structure right here, it makes a double top and completely reverses. So then again, looking left, just by looking over here, we can see that we have support coming in. So what ends up happening, it reverses from here. So just from this double top, that's almost, well, if you weighted to down here, that's over 300 pips. But right at this support, 295, just from that double top pattern. Then again, we have an M pattern here. M pattern creates, comes down, touches support, and reverses. Okay, so just after this M pattern was formed, that is almost 300 pips. So all of these confluences together will give you a ton of pips, but you have to make sure you're taking it from these major levels. Okay, so homework. Show me your entries and targets. So we'll do 3 different pairs / charts. Okay, so send me your homework on Slack and send them individually. So when you're screenshotting your stuff, send it to me in individual files. That way I can reply to it easily. And yeah.